Yes. I'll show you the station. How are you guys doing? I'm just getting off work. And to be 100% transparent, all truth coming to light. I'm not full-time in the finance. We are going to get to that point soon, but I still have a 9 to 5 and everything. So I have a 9 to 5. And I'm at the train station, right, heading home. And this is the announcement. This is the official announcement. So, and the video is not perfect, and the light, and there's background, and there's sound, and everything, right? But this is something I want to emphasize. Be 100% transparent again. I tried to shoot the video on the train. I like the rawness of the atmosphere, but the sound overtook what I was saying, so I wasn't able to do it. But what I'm saying is that things don't have to be perfect. That's 2 points right there. Things don't have to be perfect, but they have to at least make sense. But they don't have to make so much sense that you need to know all of everything in components. Wait for the perfect alignment of all the stars. Wait for the perfect, the perfect timing. The timing is not perfect at all. It's at the end of the year. There's 2 weeks, or not even 2 weeks, full 2 weeks left in the year. There's why not push it off into next year? Because that mentality, that mindset says that I'm going to push it back. And even if I keep pushing it back, then eventually I will miss out on a season. Right? So this time it's at the end of the year. It's 2 weeks left into the year. We could have planned this out more longer. We could have had a calendar, whatever it is, but we didn't. But you know what? We're saying, this year is going to be the last year. We don't have things planned out in advance. This is going to be the last year where we don't move with alignment. But we're going to get started from somewhere. Right? Link this to finances. This is what we're talking about. We're going to stay right in our lane. With finances, our foundation is so messed up that we're not able to build. Everything in the U.S. is debt, credit, debt, borrow, debt, this and that, whatever. And I wanted to make the point that you can actually make money and generate money for yourself, for your personal economy, for your business, for your 501c3, for your business entities, for your real estate endeavors and deals without borrowing money. Without, you know what I mean? You don't have to have all of this thing perfect. It can be a little bit rough around the edges, and you can still refine it, and then you can build and look and see what works. You can plan and do, and then review and see how it works, and then you can craft it. You can get better at it, but you have to start from somewhere. The foundation of debt is going to get us messed up. It makes me so upset that we're in the richest country in the world, yet we're in the poorest country in the world. This country U.S. has more debt than any other country. And that's being shown to the world. People come to the World Bank to borrow and take the idea of debt to their own country so that they can build an infrastructure and all those things like that. But let's not forget about the structure, right, of hard work. Something called sweat equity, which is not as attractive. It doesn't sound as sophisticated. Oh, you want to be doing things passive? No, you need to work for a bit. And you need to be able to build yourself up a base of hard work, of sweat equity, to build up into the capacity of somebody who's able to work in a space and be able to generate income for yourself before you go and borrow somebody else's money, or what they call other people's money, OPM. You have not figured out how to do your own economy, and you're borrowing somebody else's money and have to pay back from interest. It does not make sense. But it seems to be the sophisticated thing to talk about, especially in the U.S. and other Western countries. Borrow, leverage, OPM. Take some over here and take the difference of how much you borrow, less the interest, and go and get some favorable returns. Go and get dividends. You have not figured out how to work the economy, and you're doing things in a responsible way that you're going to be held accountable for when the market turns down. Leverage and invest on somebody else's dollar, but you have not figured out how to properly trade. So when the trade bounces in your face, now you owe somebody else money. It does not make sense. Right? So I'm going to be one way on this debt thing. I'm going to be all the way on the other side. I got some debt to clear, but that's where I'm at. Right? If I wanted to go to Florida right now, from where I'm at, you can go on Florida 95 South all the way and get there. But you have to put in the GPS where you're starting from. So I have some debt that I have to clear. I have some student loans. I ain't perfect. I got some student loans too, but I'm not taking out any more. Right? So we're going to be I'm launching after an event where we're going to be doing some walking. It's going to be a prosperity walk and talk. We're going to do a financial literacy walk. We're going to do it someplace. And the whole point of this is that this is a way that you can build money. And the idea came from, this is right after COVID, and I was looking to do some running. I had just lost a friend, and I was running around. Actually, it was the beginning of COVID. To give you the full backstory, during COVID, I lost a friend of mine. And I felt personally guilty about it because at that time I was doing financial services, when I knew him, like when I was in Morgantown with him, and he died. And we didn't talk about the financial services, the insurance that I was selling with other people, but I didn't want to talk to about it. I didn't want him to take me as, whatever, we can just do that, whatever. I said, okay, we can be cool. We don't have to talk about this particular thing about the insurance thing. But then he died, and he died in a way where had he had insurance, his family would have got paid out that. Even if he had got started something with something small, he would have had something. So in any case, during COVID, I was running after that time, and I ran a good amount of miles. I go back and watch my Facebook. It always reminds me that I ran probably in that month, around October, November, I ran probably about 150 miles of me running. Some of it was due to stress, some of it was just trying to push myself, some of it was trying to see what I can do. And that was, I think, about 2020, or that might have been 2021, right? In that time, I think it was 2020. Right, so fast forward, I always was curious about how much money is this generating. I don't even know what was the entity that was holding it. New York Marathon, right? For all that backstory, that long backstory to get to this point over here. New York Marathon, I think the year after COVID had subsided a little bit, and they did the running again. They did $500 million in the day of running. So the marathon does not last more than 24 hours. In the time allotted for the marathon, they did $500 million. And I said, no, they must be onto something, right? I was talking to somebody another time I was doing the Uber, and they were talking to me about how come teachers don't get paid. And I said, logistically, and I'm going to get in trouble for this, but that's perfectly fine. Logistically, right? Teachers teach you, but they don't bring fiscal money, economy dollars into the economy other than the money that they do as parent-teacher fundraiser, whatever it is, which goes to the school. The teachers themselves are very well educated, but they don't bring in money. Whereas, and we were arguing, right, if you bring in a football stadium in the South specifically, right, people like it and will pay for it, and it justifies the $100 million that you spend on a football stadium rather than to pour in the teachers, because it generates money year over year, month after month. Things and events are happening in the stadium that generate money for that county, generate money for that city, right? More than what teachers generate, even though we were taught how to read. So this whole thing was a whole thing about, people are making money with running. So I was like, you know what? I'm also going to make some money with running too, right? I'm going to make some money in a legal way. Not doing anything out of character, not doing anything unethical, doing something legal and ethical as well as healthy for you, right? In which case we'll host an event where people can do it walking or running. In our particular case, it'll be walking. I'm going to disclose the details to you later, but the whole idea is you can use your mindset, and this is another thing that links back to Robert Kiyosaki's way of thinking, which I don't agree with everything he says. He also leverages, he also does debt and does deals with real estate with other people's money, which I don't agree with, right? I'm a no-debt person. I have debt now, but I'm a no-debt person in my mind. I'm not going to have debt for soon, and I'm not going to continue to work in that system. That to me is the Babylonian system. It's the yoke, and it's the tear specifically that the enemy planted to keep us from getting to where we want to get to separate the wheat from the chaff. And we'll say, you know what? After this year, no more debt. So now I'm saying, I'm going to the next year. At the end of the year, now 3 months in advance, like how they do other events. But with 2 weeks, we're going to put together this event, right, before the end of the year, so that we can earn some capital for our private endeavors, right, for businesses that we want us to fund without taking on business credit. I think that's another line of nonsense. But Dave Ramsey also opened us up to the idea that debt is the #1 sold commodity in the U.S. Mortgages, right? Car financing payments, right? If we keep doing the same thing, we're going to keep getting the same results, and we're going to get worse and worse and deeper in debt. And plus, the taxes and inflation will never get ahead. At least let's take out the debt first. So we're having an event at the end of the year. More details to come, right? About a walk-in event, and we'll do the backstory about how we planned it, how we came up with the venue, someplace that I've been before, that we'll disclose all the details later, right? But the whole point is that you can have an event on Eventbrite or other sites like that, and you can put together an event, and they take their small fee, right? But you can put together an event, or you can have something to happen with your creative space that people can get together as a community to do. They'll pay for it willingly, openly, right? And you can take the money, the profit, less whatever the company, Eventbrite, or whoever take out of it. You can use your mindset. That doesn't involve any debt, doesn't involve any borrowing, right? We don't have any investors. We're going to ask for contributors, right? So we're not giving away portions of the business that we make, right, in exchange for a profitable exchange. We're saying, you know what, we're going to have an event. We're going to say open and honestly, this is for business development purposes, that we can fund our businesses without debt, that we can fund our endeavors without debt, right? And you can do this, right, without waiting for the perfect time, without waiting, they say on average 8 weeks to plan an event, right? 8 weeks in advance to get all of the, sponsors and everything like that. I understand that there's importance in doing things with measure and doing things with a timeline and giving yourself enough time to do something in excellence and not rushing the event, right? But I also believe, and I believe truly, that not to waste time waiting for the perfect time. So we're at the end of the year. The idea came to us early, but we're moving a little bit slow on it, but we're going to get it done. And to push and at least to say, okay, well, let me see where it is that I'm at. Let me do some diagnostic. It doesn't mean I'm going to go in there, relate this to like working out. I'm not going into the weight room and putting 500 pounds and I'm not worked out, I'm not running. I've made that mistake previously, in which case, just because of previous athleticism, I didn't stretch or whatever it is, and guess what? Repercussions. Guess what? You know what I mean? Things actually happen, right? The things that you don't prepare for will hurt you. But I'm saying you can also do things at the end without losing everything, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? My mind blanked on the word that I wanted, right? My mind blanked on it, but it's perfectly fine. Listen, the video, it's got background, the sound, the light is not perfect. I'm looking here, I'm looking there, I'm not sitting down, I'm not wearing my white shirt and everything like that. But authenticity is also important, right? You're not going to be perfect all the time. So go out there and do what it is you have, what it is that you have, and make strides and move forward, right? Consequences is the word I was looking for. Consequences that my legs, I did not stretch when I went out there and run recently, right? And I felt like I popped something. I was like, man, it was such a hurt in the chest because I'm so athletic. I've done so many things. I've played a D1 ball, but you can't work off what you used to be. So this is a loaded message that I'm kind of just spitballing at you guys, but I'm giving you guys the raw message so we can go out there and do what we got to do. You guys can look for the event details coming soon. We got to get out there and do it, and you got to do things with no debt. Let's go. God bless you.